We're highlighting the Eastern South Carolina Alliance. Stay tuned to Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're in Florence, South Carolina at the Bell South Building. We're focused on the Eastern South Carolina Alliance, and we're visiting with Gene Butler, the Executive Director of the Dillon County Economic Development Board. Good morning, Gene. Thanks so much for being with us
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Incredible opportunity to highlight not only Dillon County, but the Eastern Strategic Eastern South Carolina Alliance, all that's happening within the alliance, and the seven county members working together now, and hopefully will continue to, and have been for a good while already, but now in a different form. Can we talk a little about yourself? Are you originally from the area?
No, actually, I'm originally from the Low Country. Charleston is my home. I've been there all my life. Well, not really all my life. I've moved around the state a good bit, but that's my hometown.
You still have family down in the Low Country?
My mother and children all still living in that area.
And how long have you been in Dillon County?
I've been here a little over 2 years, about 2.5 years now, I think. Came in 2000.
Okay, great. Can you talk real quick about the Dillon County Economic Development Board, when obviously most counties have a form of an economic development, a corporation or commission or board?
Right.
Can you talk real quick about the board, how that's structured?
Sure. It's a county organization. It's 100% funded by the county. The 9 members of the board are appointed by county council. They're work in an advisory capacity, and I actually report to the county administrator. So that's how our organization is set up.
And it is the board itself is focused pretty internally, working with folks who are already in the county, making to strengthen them, industries within the county, or is it used to bring folks into the county?
It's really both. We try to take care of our industries that are already there. Most people probably don't realize that 75 to 80% of new jobs created come from the existing industries. So we try to look after our industries there, as well as trying to recruit new investment.
That's a real good point. A heck of a lot of folks don't think of that.
That's right.
Helping existing industries expand within the county.
Exactly.
That's sure a heck of a lot easier than bringing in other folks.
It is. You have sort of a captive audience there, and you want to be sure that you grow your garden well, so to speak, to take care of what you have in your own backyard. And
did you hold a similar position prior to moving to Dillon?
I did. I was in Colleton County for about 14 years doing the same thing. Had a good time working with the folks in that area, and saw an opportunity to come up here. I knew Frank Ellaby, who had this position before I did, and when he retired, took advantage of the opportunity to come up this way, and I've had a wonderful time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And having said you traveled around the state, did you go to school here in South Carolina as well?
I did. I attended all the public schools in Charleston County, and also Charleston Southern University is where I graduated.
Great.
Been one of the first classes at that new campus.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you truly were inundated in the Low Country before heading out to Colleton and other parts of the state.
Yes, I was.
Very definitely. How about the Eastern South Carolina Alliance? When did you first become aware of the alliance?
After I had accepted the position with the Dillon County Development Board, I was made aware that there was this organization in the formation stages, and I became involved in that process. I think they had been working on it a couple of years, and I guess I was in the last year of the formation of the process, and it's been a great experience so far.
And what do you think about the program, Gene?
I think it has a lot of benefits, not only for Dillon County, but the region as a whole. I knew a lot of the other economic development directors prior to coming to this area, but the thing that helped me so much is the opportunity to learn more about the region through this organization. So it was an educational process for me as well, and it's really helped us all to work together as a region. It's been a very, very positive experience for us.
With that 14 years in Colleton County, obviously there were probably some other alliances throughout the state that you came in contact with. Was Colleton part of a similar alliance?
We did have a 5-county alliance in that area, but it was more directed towards working together in a regional industrial park that we had formed. It was a close alliance that we had, but it wasn't limited to the marketing effort like it is in this one. So it was similar in some ways, but a lot different in others as well. But it did have a lot of same types of issues that we had to deal with.
Are you aware of a similar alliance in the Low Country, having spent so much of your life in the Low Country?
There's Charleston Regional Alliance, which is Berkeley, Dorchester, and Charleston counties. They have a similar organization that's structured in the same way that the counties contribute to it on a per capita basis, as we do, and they fund various activities as well as marketing for the promotion of their region as well. So it is very similar.
Well, I know the focus is on the Eastern South Carolina Alliance, but I do want to talk a little more about Dillon County and some of the changes that have happened in development there over the last 2 to 3 years. You've been there since early 2000.
Right.
So you've had a good feel and seeing some of the changes on daily operational side. How has that been?
We've sort of had to go back and do a lot of basic things, restructure some of the programs that were there early on. One of the first things that we did was start a strategic planning session for the county. It took us about a year to go through a planning process for the county, looking at our strengths and weaknesses. We got about 80 people, local citizens, involved in the process and came up with 4 committees that are still ongoing. And it's been a very, very positive experience for the whole community to get involved in this effort. In addition to helping us make some plans, by completing this process, it's also allowed the county to be eligible for rural infrastructure funds through the South Carolina Department of Commerce. So it's been a very positive experience for us.
That's probably a pretty grueling procedure, trying to get funds, or is it not? I mean, can you?
It is. As you know, the economy has not been at its best for the last couple of years, and because of that, money is tight everywhere. But the limited funds that the state has available to the rural communities is really limited by the ability to have this plan in place. So if you don't have this plan, you're really out of that pool of money as well.
Gene, this is the next question really deals with something that would be indicative primarily to you and to Marlborough County within our viewing area, Chesterfield County, a little bit of Marion and particularly Horry County. But as to North Carolina, when you think about the influence of having Robeson immediately adjacent to Dillon County, there's surely a lot of, and surely they've got their own marketing arms. Robeson and Scotland County are both very important parts of my viewing audience, of our TV audience. Does Dillon County at some level cater to Robeson County to try to bring folks across the state line? Anything on the economic development side that y'all contemplate? Surely south of the border and I-95 are recognized.
We feel like the region we're in the PD, anything that happens in that region certainly helps our efforts. And same thing in North Carolina. We feel like if a new industry were to locate right next door, it would certainly give our citizens an opportunity to be employed there. So, yes, it is a very positive thing for us as well. And we have gone across the border, so to speak, and met with the folks in Laurinburg and Lumberton to let them know that we would like to work with them to keep things in our region rather than losing opportunities to other parts of the state or other parts of the country.
Yeah.
And we all realize that it's good for all of us to keep things in this area.
Very definitely. And that is so important, not only to be able to work within this seven-county alliance, but also to think about crossing the state line. So many folks think there's a 2,000-foot wall at the state line.
Yeah,
but Dillon and Marion and Horry County have surely changed that.
We certainly understand that need, and we try to work with our neighbors to promote the whole region.
Can we talk real quick about Dillon County's workforce and some of the things that have been done to enhance the workforce opportunities?
Sure. There aren't a whole lot of things that are done in advance as far as training. Most of the opportunities that we have to train employees for job opportunities are limited to actual opportunities that are there. They're not done on a speculative basis. You have to sort of have the job opportunity available, so the training is there as needed, but we don't have a program in place to really train folks for specific job opportunities without having that opportunity. if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This program is through the state. It's the Center for Accelerated Training and Technology, formerly known as Special Schools Program. And there's also some monies available from the Workforce Investment Act that will allow industries to do some training within their companies as well for opportunities to expand. So we utilize those two programs whenever the need is available.
And the imagine or the thoughts of ESA being fully underway will come at some level to help the workforce in the communities, or are there other groups that may be beneficial in that regard?
No, I think ESA probably won't be involved in that type of training or exercise. It'll be pretty much limited to the two programs I just mentioned. ESA is not going to be involved in the actual training.
Right. Obviously, as a marketing arm, surely their thought is just to bring recognition to the 7 counties and hopefully to more counties later.
Exactly. That's what we hope this alliance will do for us.
How do you, Gene, when you get a couple of minutes to describe to prospective employers a little bit about Dillon County, how do you describe the county and some of the benefits, the pros, and also you open up with, I guess oftentimes not open up, but you have to lay out some of the potential cons or be ready for their thoughts. How do you lay out the pros to prospective employers?
You do have to do that, and I try to think about the first time that I came to Dillon County as a prospective job interview and look at the county through my eyes the way I saw it the first time, and I think about that and try to relate that experience to visitors that are coming through, and try to point out the very positive things that I have found there. Its location, the interstate, the proximity to Florence and Myrtle Beach, and I just can't say enough about how wonderful the people are in the area. It's been an experience that, even though I'm from the low country and have lived in other parts of the state, the people of the PD region have just an outstanding willingness to be open to newcomers and want the opportunity to do things for their community and grow, and they're open to welcoming new businesses and opportunities. It's just a wonderful experience to know the people in the PD region.
Very definitely. Very definitely. I'm sure a lot of viewers would be interested in engaging in the PD region is just that way.
It is.
Hopefully the low country has some aspects of that. When taping in Charleston a few weeks back, we surely felt they talk about themselves as the utmost of civility and of compassion to folks visiting the area. Have you, in the 2.5 years, been able to pinpoint what you like best about Dillon County, Gene?
You know, it's hard to paint a picture for someone who hasn't been there to experience the things that I've mentioned. Dillon County, like I said, has some very fine attributes to promote when we're trying to recruit industry. But again, I'll have to go back and say that the people in the area are probably our most important asset. I think, you know, you can have an interstate or a wonderful industrial park, but if you don't have the people in place to make the right things happen, you're lacking a very important asset. And I think that's an asset that we can be proud of.
You heard Gene Butler say it. The people are our most important asset. Dillon County, Executive Director of the Economic Development Board there. Gene, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Definitely. Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're in Florence County at the Bell South Building. We're focused on the Eastern South Carolina Alliance, and we're visiting with Ray Harris, the Executive Director of the Darlington County Development Board. Good morning, Ray. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg. I'm delighted to be with you.
Incredible opportunity to highlight the Alliance and so much of what's happening now, bringing these 7 counties and hopefully later even more counties together to promote themselves as one, to a much larger audience than oftentimes they're able to as a standalone. Want to hear a little bit about what had happened in Darlington County and continues to happen in promoting itself, as well as some of the hopes of teaming together well with the Alliance. But I want to talk a little bit about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm originally from the little town of Wake Forest, North Carolina, and I grew up there and then went into the service, World War II, came back and went to the college. At that time it was a college. Later it became the university, which you probably attended. And so I was born, reared, and educated there, as you might say.
That's a great community. A lot of viewers probably wouldn't know, albeit a good chunk of the viewers in Robinson and Scotland County and Columbus County in North Carolina. Some of the viewers in South Carolina think of Wake Forest and they only think of Winston-Salem. But of course you're talking about Wake Forest, North Carolina, which is
the little town.
A little due north of Raleigh, our the state capital.
16 miles.
Is that right? 16 miles?
Yep. I used to bum over there from Wake Forest to Raleigh and do things, you know, and have fun over in. We couldn't even dance in Wake Forest because of the Baptist University college there, you know. We had to go over to Raleigh to have our dances, fraternity dances.
Oh, God. Do you still have family in that part of the state?
I have one sister there, but she has recently moved over to Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of cut all ties except friendships there, still remaining.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Wake Forest, going to the Navy, coming back to Wake Forest, you were graduate in Wake Forest. Did you later stay in that area, your first position after graduation?
No, the thing that, first job I had was with a sporting goods company over in Raleigh, Lewis Sporting Goods. It was the outstanding business in the sporting business. Then I went from there over to the FBI. I applied for the FBI Special Agent Service and was accepted and went into the FBI as a special agent and stayed with the FBI for about 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. We spent a little time in my closing days with the FBI in Chicago, and we were expecting our first child there. And we decided that we weren't going to be here 7 years, and that was generally the practice at your second office. That's how long you would be there. So I came back south and looked for a job and found a job with the Atlantic Coastline Railroad, which is now CSX. Right. Stayed with them for a couple of years, and then my wife had an interest in a hardware store in Darlington, half interest, and we decided to move to a little town, Darlington, and join the Barringer McKeel Hardware. And I represented her interest in that store for about 10 to 12 years. Then after that, I got into the real estate business. As we had more and more children, we ended up having 6 beautiful children.
Is that right, Ray?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And so the hardware wasn't going to obviously sustain our big family. So
your hungry mouths.
Yeah, right. So I ended up in the real estate business, and that's eventually how I ended up in Atlanta as the regional administrator of housing and urban development during the Bush and Reagan administration. Mm-hmm. And so when the Bush administration ended, I decided to come on back to Darlington and retire, and which I did. And then this job came open at the Economic Development Office, and I decided, well, I'd apply for that job. I'd played a lot of golf and built a house, and I was getting a little bit bored, and I thought this job was going to be right down my line, economic development. I applied for it, got the job, and it's the best job I've ever had. I really do love promoting Darlington County. You get a feeling of giving something back to a county, you know. Right.
And it is an amazing county. We've done some tapings up in Hartsville and throughout the county. We did a focus on the Governor's School as well as on Coker, and had an amazing time up there. That trip up to the campus was up to the center of town. Do you physically live in when I think of Darlington County, I really think, I guess, primarily of Hartsville, but there's a heck of a lot more to Darlington County than that very western part of the county.
Well, it is, and Darlington is kind of joined at the hip, so to speak, with Florence, you know, because we're so close to them, right down 52. It's only about 6 to 8 miles, but Darlington is kind of a governmental. It's a county seat, and so people think of Darlington as a government area and county government, and they think of Hartsville as a free enterprise, business area, and so there are advantages to both. We like Darlington very much, but from an economic development standpoint, Hartsville has a tremendous amount of things to offer for industry that's looking to come into this part of the state.
Yes. Let's talk real quick about the Darlington County Development Board. Obviously, the focus today is on the Eastern South Carolina Alliance, and sure want to spend some time on that.
Right.
But a real quick review, obviously there's viewers within our viewing audience. Darlington County is one of the 8 principal counties in our viewing area,
Right.
Along with 5 other PD area counties, a couple in North Carolina and Old Reed County. That's 9. So there's
Right.
5 of the PD counties, including Darlington. The Darlington County Development Board, you said you've been executive director since 96.
96.
Over that 6 years, you've been able to fully understand the purpose, I guess, behind the board and espouse it as well as anyone. If you had an opportunity to try to explain real quick what the Development Board is, could you tell the viewers real quick its primary focus?
Well, its primary focus is to lend all the assistance possible to existing industries. That's our first goal. And
Right.
second goal is we could go out and recruit good industries to
Right.
come in, the environmentally sound and that sort of thing, industries to come in and join our other industries in the county. We focus on some prospects that we get through help from the Commerce Department in Columbia. We get a lot of financial support when we do have a prospect and they decide they're going to locate in Darlington County. There are a lot of things that have to go along with that, and that's things that like infrastructure, water, sewer, electricity, and things like that, transportation systems and things that whether you have rail service or they're going to need rail service. So we promote Darlington from that standpoint, but our first and most important part is to serve the existing industries, because that's where you get 85% of your growth, whether it's capital improvement or whether it's new jobs. So that's where our focus is, but we also have a concentration on bringing in new industry.
Great. Well, I'm glad you laid that out, because oftentimes folks who think of a development board almost exclusively focused on bringing folks to the county. But as Gene Butler said right before, a little earlier this morning, the excitement oftentimes is really staying focused on growing the garden you already have.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
That's really important for us to remember. Let's focus on the Eastern South Carolina Alliance. When did you first become aware of the Alliance?
Well, the Alliance really started about back a little before 1995, I think, somewhere along in there. Frank Willis was our leader there, and when I came on board in 96, there was a 4-county alliance at that time, and Florence, Darlington, and Marion, and Dillon, I believe it was. But there was not a whole lot of activity in that 4-county group, and there was some talk about, from Commerce, they were pushing regionalism at that time, having several counties to come together, more than 4. In our case, there were 7 counties that we ended up with in the alliance. Frank Willis did a tremendous job with the 4-county area, but when we expanded, of course, we had more activity from other counties, including the 7. And the whole idea of the 7-county alliance is to promote the alliance, or the counties within the alliance, in primarily marketing. It's not a project-oriented alliance. It's a marketing alliance, and then the various counties will work with any prospects that surface.
Right. We've got less than a minute, Ray. Can you just tell me what you like best about Darlington County?
Well, what I like best about it is the diversity that we have in the county. It's not a lot of activity from a population standpoint. We have about 68,000, but we have a lot of activity going on and a lot of good things. We have Coker College. We have a college atmosphere. It reminds me a whole lot of Wake Forest when it was about that size in the little town of Wake Forest. But we have the Governor's School of Math and Science. That's going to be a tremendous thing for this whole area. We have one of the largest corporations in the country, and not the world. It's global in effect, and that's Sunoco Products. So we have a lot of diversity, and we have one of the best technical colleges anywhere around, Florence Darlington Tech. So Darlington has a lot to offer, and we are dedicated to serving the interest of our industrials.
You heard Ray Harris say it, the Executive Director of the Darlington County Development Board. Diversity is what he likes about Darlington County. Whether it's NASCAR, Sunoco, Coker College, or the Governor's School, Florence Darlington Tech, it's diversity. Ray, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg.
Definitely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Linda Boone, Eric Jones, the Eastern South Carolina Alliance and its 7 member counties for making Carolina People such a great success.